I feel like this is almost like a want for somebody to be canceled and to be like so GG they cannot recover, and to not be able to have like any income or to lose anything from an event. Like it is what it is. Like I feel like this is almost like upset that the power that you think that outrage has isn't having an effect in real time. And oh no, like go back offline. Like come on, bro. I mean, what is that?
No, that's all I'll say.
It's like, it's vindictive.
It's okay if Clippers hate me as long as I feel like I said what I meant and I meant what I said.
I'm not debating like we know. I'm just saying we don't know what the extent of those things are. The only thing that I always talk about is when people get banned, how long they get banned for, a day for something like if somebody takes a break or somebody says I need to work on myself and it comes up. And it's a month, it's 2 weeks, it's 4 months. I don't give a shit. What would I care? Like, I don't even give a fuck if the behavior is fixed. I'm like,
who knows
Where'd the cat go?
I've spent longer getting over situationships. I'm not joking.
Same shit every day.
Years old, you still having situationships.
Yo.
Are you 30 years old? You still having situationships?
Yo.
He said 3 sentences, few week vacation. I'm good. God bless. God bless.
You know what really annoys me about Pokimane? Is that you can tell that she is probably the nastiest, cattiest bitch privately. And I think that's the reason why so many people are annoyed by her. You should just let the demons out. You should. That's who you really are. We know that's who you are. It's obvious. Everybody knows it. So like this really fake PR thing where like you never want to.
Okay, chat. Now I'm starting to think about a version where Pokimane didn't reach as much success as she's gotten over the past decade, right? Where she was kind of like, let's say, more on the lower middle end, right? And she just went full demon time, like she just like ripped it like the olden days, like just fuck it. Today we're doing cheat review 3.0. Today we're doing, you know what I mean?
Say anything. It's just annoying.
Yo.
Don't worry, guys. No, that's all I'll say. I wanna feel your body run.
Oh my god. Jesus.
It's okay if Clippers hate me as long as I feel like I said what I meant and I meant what I said. There will be, and
You never say anything.
that's what's
Okay, that's what I said.
gonna happen 9 times out of 10. 1 time out of 10, I might be like, oh shit, I didn't say that the way that I meant. But
Jesus, jeez, oh my God. What, she's so it just, yes, please, it's just nuts, man. And yeah, it's nuts. Please stop torturing us. Wow, what a clip. Vague posting? I know, it's just outrageous.
What a clown. Okay, I mean, it's chat, guys. It is pretty clown. It's pretty jester. Chat, you want to think about the idea of what a jester is? That, I mean, she's kind of gesturing a little bit, low key.
Damn, you had to cut?
like, who knows
Where'd the
back?
cat go?
Well, because chat, guys, you can kind of tell, and I don't mean to be rude. I'm sure we're all getting the vibe. You can kind of tell she's like disappointed that he didn't lose more. Disappointed he didn't like catch the full force of the internet. Like he's not like GG. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, you guys notice that he's not GG from all this? Jesus Christ! I mean, guys, come on, guys, come on. Like, wow, dude, come on, guys, we can do better than that. Like, what the fuck? Okay.
Please shut the fuck up if you've never signed I don't even know if you signed your own fucking W-2s, you autistic. Is what? Because there's a meme, there's a through line thing here that I haven't heard anybody address yet. And obviously this story is fucking big guy versus small guy, so everybody's going to side against the owner. But the huge question is, when the person sold that business, I wonder if they fucked over the new guy that bought it. Is Josh the one who bought it, the franchisee person?
There's Josh and one other guy, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if the woman, when she did the sale, if she fucked up something or she has the, because I haven't heard anybody talk about that at all. And I don't know if I've ever seen any documentation or anything related to that. Because if she did, then these guys are all of the Ben Reckless and the other people are really just engaged in like a mass harassment campaign for literally no reason.
That lady also A, left the country, and B, I think raised like, I think it was like $70,000.
Did she?
Yeah, let me find it.
We'll see if, okay, fuck it, we'll try.
But then I had to ask. Oh, sorry, here's another kind of set.
Okay.
Do you think y'all...
Wait, what the fuck?
A $200,000 Lego collection went missing. Caused a lot of you to ask
Okay.
me to find it. And after seeing the cops point guns at YouTubers, people get arrested and sued for $1.3 million, I decided enough was enough. This looks like a case for the internet detective, this time in the $10 million Lego studio. So I talked to every suspect involved. What I found shocked me. Okay, before we can find these missing Legos, let's give some background. A massive Star Wars collection was put on consignment at a Lego store called Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon. Consignment just means the owner, Brian Mansell, gave it to a store to sell, and he was supposed to get a cut when it sold. The entire time, he maintained ownership of the collection, and a social media post estimated it to be worth about $200,000. But then, on November 14th, 2024, everything went wrong. This was the night that Crystal and Ben Gorman, the prior franchise owners of the Salem store, got kicked out by this guy. That is Brandon Back.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Kafka.
Hey, just real quick before you start it, you
我去，真出了，出橙匕首了。另外，大哥不要的吗？
血珠捡漏，拿下橙色匕首，得回去阻隔做任务。
别打我，别打我，我去做任务。这我不认路啊！我去。
2去哈卡祭坛。
搞错了，再来。
这幸亏是个贼，我感觉别的职业如果没有人来，自己来的话挺费劲的。是的。这里跳下去，记得没错，这是跳下去。我找路。路上好像有点认路了，从这边过去。哎，对，这有个树桩子，应该就是这儿。不能哦，那还得在底下。这个地方怎么弄？我去看看攻略。
潜行进入到这个大塔下面的祭坛房间里，点一下就这么简单就可以获取245。
4点祭坛。5关掉所有插件，不行就重启。
哦，不要听他们瞎讲了，这个就是你要把插件都关掉，然后上线接任务。那不行就大退，哎，这不就出来了吗？
垂死梦中惊坐起，我这9万的橙币终归是享受上了。原来解谜的答案就在谜面的祭坛，点击祭坛即可完成任务。这里记得要禁用插件，然后点右上角任务栏的任务，即可获得橙色匕首污染者的碎片，而且该匕首是背在肩膀上的。画2把橙币，造型还是很帅。点右上角任务栏的下面的1楼进入，就可以看到一个祭坛。 坛，点击祭坛即可完成任务。这里记得要禁用插件，然后点右上角任务栏的任务，即可获得橙色匕首污染者的碎片。而且该匕首是背在肩膀上的，画2把橙币，造型还是很帅的，特效比较看脸，运气好很快就能叠满武器特效层数，这变身效果简直不要太酷。至于为什么说解谜答案在谜面上，因为官方这次放出的时光服 P4 宣传视频里，橙币展示的位置就是阻隔副本内，前面也刚好衔接的哈卡 BOSS， 所以早有玩家察觉到了这一点。这里不得不说，你们真的是太细了。在时光服终归还是学了大。
You Destiny, you asked the right question about the whole Lego thing.
Of course I did.
Do you have a second you want to talk about the whole like the lady selling the franchise and kind of what that means for the whole case?
Sure, or I guess. Actually, well, here's a weird question. I actually don't know the law on this. So
weird.
I steal a car that's worth $20,000. I sell it to you for $10,000, and then you sell it for $15,000. The bill of sale is clean. It's not like a super sketchy sale or whatever, but like, let's say that I managed to take the deed or whatever the fuck. So it looks authentic. It's not like you're going to the black market to buy it. What happens if investigators find out that originally the car was stolen from somebody? Who makes that person whole? Does the retailer, the guy who sells at the end, is he punished at all, or does he have to give money back? How does that work?
It's a big pawn shop thing too.
Yeah, it's pretty common in pawn shops. So like this is a pretty common thing you study in property law. So like we can make it a little simpler, but like so you steal a car, you sell it to a guy. That guy's happy about it, and then cops show up and say, "Hey, that's stolen. You got to give it back." Well, that guy that bought the car that he says he spent $10,000 on it, he now has a claim for fraud against the guy he bought it from. So he goes and he sues that guy for the $10,000, and you kind of just follow that chain, right? So like, let's say there was 3 sales, right? And it was stolen. Well, like each person in that chain can sue the person before them for the amount of money that they're owed. And so that's kind of like an issue there where like that's why you want clean title. That's why you especially with like real estate, you check the recorder's office where the deeds are. Same with the car title, you would check and make sure that it's a valid title. And that's why it's such a big deal. With things like this where there isn't clear like a title kind of thing with Legos, it can be a little difficult, but we have rules around that. And so you would, again, fortunately, you'd have to look at a number of contracts. So like the first one, obviously you want to look at is the consignment contract. And within there, you want to see, is the contract itself assignable? Is the lady that signed the consignment contract, is she able to assign her rights in that contract? Because if she is, then as long as she follows the rules of that assignment, it's transferable. But she might.
And just to clarify for people listening, because everybody's retarded, when you say the rights are assignable, you mean the rights for her to be on the other end of that contract, not that she can simply assign the rights to the consignment or owning the Legos to somebody else, right? But she would be able to pass that consignment. Yes, okay, go ahead.
Right, so what she would do, she would assign to Josh the ability to sell those Legos and then pay the difference to the fee and stuff. So now a lot of the times assignment, she might have required the consent of Brian to do it, the original owner, or there might be other terms, or it might just say she can't assign it. Okay, so in one scenario, let's assume that if she can't assign it, then actually what happens is Josh is taking over that business. And there's a part of it that we're going to talk about later about that, but he hasn't done anything wrong. He's taken over that business. That woman has left those Legos there. Now,
so he would absorb it as inventory. She would be at fault for failing the consignment, the terms of that contract, and then technically, or go ahead.
Right. So Brian would then sue her and say, I want the value of this contract from you. And she'd say, well, I don't have the inventory. And he would say, tough shit, pay me the value of this contract, because you either need to give me back the inventory or pay me what it's worth. And then she would have to then go and sue Josh and say, hey, you weren't allowed to take that inventory from me.
Sure.
Now, what Brian could do and what she could do, let's say Brian sues her. Okay, she could then say, hey, Josh is the guy that's really owes you this. And so she could bring him in, or Brian could bring him in as well, to this lawsuit so that all the parties are there and they just resolve it in one go. It's kind of just depending on how they want to construct that lawsuit.
Sure.
The other issue you run into, though, and this is kind of a bigger one, is that she was a franchisee, and franchise contracts with franchisees and franchisors, they fuck over the franchisees. So it is very possible that in her contract, she in some way forfeited her franchise, which that was kind of suspicious in how they described that in the video. I suspect she probably forfeited her franchise, and in that case, that franchise might have had the right to just go in and seize all the inventory in the store. And then at that point, then it's okay, well, Brian could sue her and the franchise, right? Not the new owner, Josh. Bricks and Minifigs, the big franchise corporation, he would bring both of them to court, right? And he would sue her, and then she might have a claim against Bricks and Minifigs, and he could also potentially sue Bricks and Minifigs, but his claim would be pretty weak because for them, they have the right to go in and seize inventory. She left the inventory there. It's on her that was lost.
Then she's
yeah, then boo fucking who. I'm sorry that the world works that way. I mean,
but it super depends on how this contract was structured and whether or not it could be assigned or passed off or anything else, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's kind of the beginning of it all, which is like, I would say, like, if there's a reason why a lawyer would look at this and say, I don't want to take it, I think very much it's because all of the initial lawsuit has to be against her, and she's basically untouchable right now. And that's not a very good story, and they didn't really want to tell that story. They want to tell the story of this little guy against a company. And technically, if they sued her, she could have sued the company, so you could say, hey, look, this is the third party that should be responsible. So, like, yeah, sure, you can bring them in and say that, okay, yes, it is us versus them. But really, it's to me, the most likely scenario is the fault lies with the woman, and that she's the person that should bring the claim against.
$80,000.
Yeah, she made, I mean, and also, I mean, like, she got her franchise taken away from her, but also, like, they assumed all the debt on it. They assumed the consignment stuff and things like that, right? Which that's the other side, is like, it's possible that they assumed the consignment deal, though I think it's unlikely that a franchise agreement would say that. Like, the franchisor is almost certainly not going to take on any debt or liabilities of a franchisee if they can help it. And they didn't agree to the consignment deal when she signed it. So whenever they took over the business, it's not like they necessarily take over her contracts, because she probably had an LLC or a business that owned the franchise.
Sure, I think all of this is like super. This is all so speculative though, because we would have to know the details to really. Because like, let's assume that she had like $20 million of diamonds in consignment in that place, and then the new owner takes that over. I imagine if she's invested or bought that she's probably being compensated in some way for it. So if somebody else says, hey, those are my diamonds, the new owners are obviously not going to give the diamonds over because they paid the last franchisee owner for them, right? But then
no.
What do you mean no?
No, that's not correct. They paid the franchisor. The new franchisee did not buy it from her necessarily. Usually the way these transactions, I mean, maybe it did, but usually every transaction I've seen with franchises and stuff like this is you're usually transferring it through the franchisor, where they'll take it over, especially in a scenario.
But even for the franchisor, I imagine there has to be some kind of compensation given or something related to that, would be my guess.
It's not. It's possible there was not. It's possible that she forfeited.
No, I agree. Maybe there's not. I'm just saying, without knowing that, it dramatically changes the path that you would go on for this, right? Because it could be at a world where she was actually in some way, size, shape, or form compensated for that inventory somehow. Her business was compensated by the franchisor for that inventory, and then she walks and she's like totally guilty, right? Or it could be in another case, the franchisor took over the business and somehow still has the consignment and the inventory on the books and fucked up the transfer to the franchisee, in which case the franchisor would be liable for all this. Or the franchisee got the consignment contracts and they're not giving the inventory back, in which case they'd be liable for it. But I feel like we have to know.
The issue is that then, like, I agree, like, if we were just looking at that moment in time, I would agree. But then with the information about, like, they talked to lawyers and none of them would take it, that tells me that there's the primary target is either untouchable or does not have any money. And the deal is that Josh definitely has enough money for them to go after him for it, because he has the fucking Legos. So they can, at the very least, he can give them back, right? Bricks and Minifigs definitely has money for it, right? Both of these parties definitely have insurance that would probably be implicated in this, right? But that lady doesn't, and she's really hard to get to. So I don't know. So looking at the behavior of the lawyers that are in this, it makes me heavily think that you're right. There's a lot of details that are speculative, but ultimately it's really hard for me to see a world in which Bricks and Minifigs or Josh and his company are liable, and a lawyer is like, "Oh, I'm too scared of this." Like, no, fuck that. You can find lawyers that will do this shit on consignment. And yeah, I don't know. It from the beginning, I've always been feeling like, yeah, I think that her role is being downplayed, and it's likely because, again, it's easy to make her sympathetic. You know, there's no real sense in going after her, and it's not good content. So, like,
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a
we'll
ton of motivation to portray it this way. So,
sure.
yeah, it's
We'll see
all.
what comes out of this. All right.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Bye.
Love you more.
Gorman, the prior franchise owners of the Salem store, got kicked out by this guy. That is Brandon Best. He and his partner, Josh Johnson, ran a sister store in Eugene, Oregon. And Brandon drove up that night to kick the Gormans out. Brandon and Josh would be taking over the franchise in Salem. And this is the exact moment the Legos go missing. As that store is getting handed over, the question is Brian's collection in it? Here's what the official Bricks and Minifigs press release reads.
So I don't think this matters. I know everybody in chat keeps spamming, she got kicked out, she got kicked out. But what matters is the actual paperwork and the process that was happening in the background of this, not what whatever the fuck you guys are all screaming about was on camera for 20 seconds. I don't think that matters at all.
Being handed over, the question is Brian's collection in it? Here's what the official Bricks and Minifigs press release reads. Quote, after taking over the store, we discovered a small number of sets valued between $2,000 to $5,000 that could be possibly related to Mr. Mansell's collection. But there's a problem here. There should be over 10 times that amount in this store, given their internal records and what we know the estimated value of this collection was. So if corporate's saying there was only $2,000 to $5,000 in the store, something happened to these Legos. But what? In order to solve this case, let's think about the suspects. First, who was there that night of the handover? It's only 3 people. Crystal and Ben Gorman, the former franchise owners, and Brandon Best, one of the new owners. These are our 3 biggest suspects, but they aren't the only ones. I want to address a few other suspects at the very start here. First of all, maybe this is just all the result of, plain old thieves breaking in. What about that possibility?
Hi, I am Chris. I was the previous franchise owner who signed the collection agreement with Brian Mansell.
And I'm Benjamin Gorman. I am the silent partner who's really bad at being silent.
We did have a couple of break-ins at the store. None of Brian's collections were in the police report or stolen during those.
Okay, so the Gormans say emphatically it wasn't thieves, but if that's the case, what about the guy who was arrested? I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Reckless Ben. This is the YouTuber who started it all. With a documentary, I tracked down the thief who
was the person in the back like their daughter or? Okay.
stole $200,000 of Lego. Maybe it's the perfect crime. Make a video tracking yourself. Now, for our theory, it's worth noting Ben is currently facing a RICO lawsuit by Bricks and Minifigs. He was even targeted with a search warrant for stolen Legos.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
The owner reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos.
And on top of that, Reckless Ben was even accused of stealing the Legos by the current franchise owner.
I stole the Legos? What do you think of the theory that it was Reckless Ben? He stole the Legos.
It's absurd. We didn't even know Reckless Ben. He had no interaction, no relation to us, no relation to the store. That doesn't hold any water.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Apologies to the genius cops in Utah who played.
It's a little weird for them to stake anything on saying I don't know why they would know or why they would even have an opinion on that, but okay.
Different.
We play differently here.
But I don't believe that Reckless Ben stole the Lego, mostly because he couldn't. He just wasn't there that night, and I don't even think he knew about these Legos. But who does Ben suspect is holding the Legos since he did this whole documentary series?
The guy who runs the entire company, Ammon McNeff, he personally came out to talk to us.
So what's going on? So you guys are holding...
A part of the contract with the franchise is in Bricks and Minifigs complaint, point 24 in this complaint. Hold on. Section 8C of the FA, I'm assuming that means franchisee agreement, confirmed that to preserve the BAM brand, that Crystal, Benjamin, and Salem LLC agreed to only purchase products from BAM in pertinent part. Crystal, Benjamin, and Salem were those are the 3, those people that owned it before?
That's what it sounds like.
Oh, shit. I wonder if this complaint... Actually, I'm just going to read from here. Uh-oh. Crystal was initially employed as a BAM-owned entity and corporate employee/store manager for BAM's then subsidiary corporate-operated Bricks and Minifigs location in Salem, Oregon. Okay, BAM is Bricks and Minifigs, which is the entire corporate entity, and then the individual store can be a franchised store. But she was initially employed as it was a corporate-run location. During her tenure, she expressed interest in becoming a private franchisee as the owner, with her husband Benjamin, of Banff Salem 1 LLC, and individually and in purchasing the Salem, Oregon store she managed. BAM agreed to her proposed private franchisee affiliation and purchase transaction within BAM's established franchise agreement structure pursuant to the terms of a written 2/6/23, I'm guessing this is June 2nd, 2023 franchise agreement between BAM and Salem LLC, Crystal and Benjamin, and a 2/2/23 business and asset purchase agreement between BAM and Crystal and Benjamin. The APA confirmed a closing date of February 2nd, 2023 in Section 4.1, directed that Utah law governed in Section 10.3 and required Crystal and Benjamin to timely pay purchase price installments, royalties, and other considerations to obtain landlord consent to a lease assignment for Salem LLC, to coordinate account transfers, among other obligations for the purchase in Sections 2 and 3. Significantly, BAM was granted a security interest referenced in APA Section 3 and confirmed in a February 2nd, 2023 security agreement in and 2. Okay. BAM, Bricks and Minifigs, was granted a security interest referenced in... okay, that is the Business and Asset Purchase Agreement is the APA. Okay. Okay, BAM's granted a security interest reference in APA Section 3 and confirmed in a agreement. Okay, 2. All accounts, chattel paper, general intangibles, inventory, and equipment of debtor, Salem LLC, Crystal and Benjamin, whether now owned or hereafter acquired, located, used, or arising in connection with the operation of Salem LLC. This established BAM's senior claim to and or lien respecting any inventory and accounts and other collateral. Section 2.3 similarly directs that buyer, Crystal and Benjamin, shall be responsible for and shall pay all liabilities of the business incurred from and after the closing date. Section 8.2 mandates that buyer, Crystal and Benjamin, shall indemnify and hold harmless the seller, BAM, from and against, and pay or reimburse seller for any and all costs, expenses, losses, damages, and liabilities, including attorney's fees and expenses, suffered by seller to the extent resulting from or arising out of or incurred with respect to liabilities of buyer arising out of, relating to, or in connection with any claim brought against buyer relating to the assets or business operations from and after the closing date. Okay. It sounds like... Okay, so my question would be, it feels like Bricks and Minifigs would inherit the consignment accounts, is what it seems like. Section 8C of the franchisee agreement confirmed that to preserve the BAM brand, that Crystal, Benjamin, and Salem LLC agreed to only purchase products from BAM. In pertinent part, you acknowledge and agree that the reputation and goodwill of Bricks and Minifigs stores are based on and can be maintained only by providing a high-quality, courteous, safe, and fun experience. Therefore, you agree that your store will use and or offer only services, products, and merchandise as set forth in the operations manual or as otherwise approved by us and as may be periodically modified by us in our sole discretion. Franchise further acknowledges that we have spent considerable time and effort in developing the products, services, processes, methods, and technology used in the operation of a Bricks and Minifigs business. Accordingly, franchisee acknowledges that franchisee is required to sell and use only approved products, supplies, vendors, and suppliers that include, but is not limited to, new and used Lego building brick. Oh, shit. Wait, is Bricks and Minifigs not a... I just assumed that this is kind of like GameStop, where you could like buy and sell shit, or they could do this consignment stuff normally. Is that not an ordinary Bricks and Minifigs thing? Is this just like a side business that these guys were running out of the franchise? Because if so, that would bode very poorly for the franchisee owner, if that's the case. But product, services, processes, methods, technology used in the operation of a Bricks and Minifigs business according... Okay. Pre-approved. Lego. It was in the contract Destiny. Bleak foil. Link what you're talking about. Have you reached out to Jillian Michaels for a debate since she issued that open challenge on Twitter? I think I tweeted out a thing. I don't know if she replied or not. For the operation of the store. Okay. Franchisee is prohibited from selling any non-Lego branded products or Lego compatible branded products not approved by us. Franchisor will provide franchisees with a list of all pre-approved non-Lego branded and Lego compatible products a franchisee is authorized to offer and sell in its store. Franchisee agrees that we may periodically and upon written notice add to, modify, or change such approved products, supplies, vendors, and suppliers. Franchisee agrees to promptly accept and implement in the operation of the store all such additions, modifications, and changes at franchisee expense. In addition, franchisee acknowledges that to ensure, isn't it ensure with an E?
Are they insuring it like insurance, or because otherwise it is with an E?
To ensure the consistent, high quality, and uniformity of products and services provided by Bricks and Minifigs franchisee or franchise businesses, franchisee must purchase products, supplies, POS systems, computers, software, cash registers, camera, and security systems, marketing, and advertising materials for use in the operation of a bricks and mortar and Bricks and Minifigs from franchisor, its affiliates, or approved vendors who demonstrate to franchisor's continuing satisfaction and ability to meet franchisor standards and specifications. The exception to the above is that because of the nature of the resale industry, most all products that need to be purchased for the store will be from various sources, and franchisee is responsible for identifying such sources. However, franchisor may make arrangements with vendors for certain products at negotiated costs that would ultimately benefit the entire system. Franchisor is not liable to franchisee for any loss or damage or being breached of this contract. The exception to the above is the nature of the resale industry. Most all products need to be purchased for the store will be from various sources. Franchisee is responsible for identifying such sources. Does that include consignment? Is there anything in here at all about consignment? Uh-oh. To be clear, APA Section 1 provided that while select consignment services may be permitted... Okay, Section 1. Okay, is that this thing here? Is that... Okay, well.
Thoughts?
Well, hold on. Start reading. I'm not at the part yet. While select consignment services may be permitted, such were limited expressly to those approved by BAM. APA Section 18A mandates all modifications to agreement must be in writing whenever this agreement requires the approval of consent. Despite the foregoing plain requirements, Crystal and Benjamin materially breached the obligations required. APA payments were not completed. FA royalty payments became delinquent. The lease and various accounts were never properly transferred, and lease amounts were unpaid. Crystal's outstanding contractual obligations mounted, eventually exceeding an estimated $175,000. In early fall of 2024... Oh, shit. Accepted work. Oh, man. Hold on. In early fall of 2024, Benjamin accepted work overseas, and Crystal advised BAM that she intended to close the store and abandon the franchise operation altogether, including stating an effective date for such closure of December 2024, as she did not have the right to do so. Under the FA, BAM notified her that that was not appropriate based on the foregoing uncured breaches and anticipatory repudiation. BAM, inter alia, issued a written 11/14/2024 notice termination, immediate termination of Salem LLC pursuant to the FA, exercised its priority rights to the collateral and the security agreement, pre-scheduled a repossession with Crystal, and repossessed the Salem LLC store on or after 11/4. Oh, shit. Hold on. So this was not just a transfer from one business to the other. She was massively delinquent, assuming everything in the complaint is true. She was massively delinquent on her franchisee payments, and then was holding on to stuff using consignment agreements that she didn't even have the authority from the franchisor to make. And so when her business was reabsorbed...
Did she not have the authority to make that? Because
it doesn't sound like it.
Okay.
Unless I see... I would need to see somebody... I would need to see a document or something stating otherwise.
Yep.
The TCRL video has the consignment frames where they highlight the contract. Well, this is.
What's up, my man?
What, I don't know what timestamp you want me to go to. It's an hour-long video.
What timestamp, Steel Manning?
Yeah, okay, dude, 9. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. Okay, I'm at, okay. Oh, Jesus, this is about to get
crazy.
Okay, okay, this is about to be mega complicated. Okay, follow me here. Let's say that I agree to sell stereos, okay? And I'm a stereo store, and Sony gives me a franchisee thing to do this, okay? So I have a Sony store, I sell speakers, all right? But I could retail sell, let's say I get 10% profit or 20% profit, and then that goes to me, and part of it I pay back to the franchisor. But what if instead of that, what if I also double as a reseller of other people's Sony stuff? So you bring me some stuff, I'll buy your radio, I'll buy your speaker, whatever, and then I'll sell it in my store. It's kind of like a side agreement, but it's like part of my Sony store. And then when people come in and buy from that, I don't ever have to actually report that or give that to the franchisor because it's just like side agreements that we make. But I'm doing it out of a franchised store, giving it the appearance of like, oh shit, this is like an official Sony retailer, like cool. If I go delinquent on my payments and then the franchisor, Sony, comes to repossess my franchised business and then I just moonwalk the fuck out, all they have here is inventory. I don't know at that point if they repossess everything, they're not going to give a fuck about any consignment agreements or whatever that I made with somebody else. That's going to be shit that the person who did the consignment, who gave me the stereo shit to hold, they would have to come to me because I would basically be illegally offloading a ton of liability onto the franchisor that never even agreed to take that on in the first place, that I was doing in violation of the agreement the entire time. But I could also... It
sounds like it's civil against her then.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because if it's true that what she was doing...
So because a franchisee did something fucky, a corporation can steal from someone. Well, it would have been her stealing from the guy, basically, because she was never authorized to hold inventory like that from him. When her store was repoed by the corporation, this is just what she was holding in her inventory, assuming they had that. And then because she literally signed an agreement with the company as part of her franchisee agreement that she indemnifies them against all losses, whatever breach, whatever bullshit. So if she fucks up, they can't be held liable for it. And this would be her fuck up. So then the onus would 100% fall on her to make whole the person that she was doing the illegal consignment agreements with. If my understanding is correct, and if what's in this agreement is true. Uh-oh. Hold on, real quick. Somebody said, BAM's website says all locations buy, sell, and trade Legos. Consignment isn't mentioned, but they're always buying Legos from customers. Buying products from people is different from holding things as a consignment agreement, though, right? Because what the consignment agreement would let you do, if you were being tricky, is it allows you, if we were to pretend that it works the way that I imagine all of Reddit and YouTube wants to work, the consignment agreement would basically let me hold $20 million of inventory that the franchisor can never touch. Ha! Get bent. Fuck you. That's not even your shit. Even if the franchisor hasn't agreed that I, as a franchisee, am even allowed to participate in consignment stuff. So if I were to become massively delinquent, let's say I owe the franchise $500,000 and they come to repo my shit and they go, well, we're going to make ourselves whole. I'm sorry. Like, we're going to repo your inventory. You go, huh, sorry, buddy. That inventory is not yours. I got that on consignment. Suck a dick. And then you moonwalk out with it. And now all of a sudden they have nothing and they're left, you know, yeah. Destiny, but isn't the consigned inventory on the franchisee store's balance sheet? No, because it doesn't sound like the franchise was allowed to do consignment. So this would have basically been a side illegal business that they were running on top of the actual franchise business, basically.
Well, I mean, the money would still go through their books, right?
My guess is probably not. It would be a side business. That would be one of the reasons why you do it. You make more money, and you wouldn't even have to, that money wouldn't go on the books to the...
Sure, but like... Are they really going to have a different whole point of sale system to just do his inventory? Now, cash I could hear, right? But
I mean, they could run, they could have like a second business, or they could have like something, I guess I don't know how the accounting would go, but like part of the reason why you do these side deals is because you don't have to pay the franchise. You make this is all money that you pocket on your business. Now you can still pay taxes.
Sure, but my idea wouldn't be that they wouldn't pay the franchise here. My idea would be that they would, like, let's say they did an illegal consignment. Sure, they're not allowed to do that. However, at the end of the day, they're still getting money in. The money would then, a percent would go to the guy, and then they would have to pay a percent to the franchise.
Yeah, but the question is they would just have a second POS, or they would just have a second system for the consignment stuff. It'd just be like a totally separate business.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of money too. It's possible. It's $200,000 worth of Lego, so it's not like we're talking $100.
Ooh. Okay, let me read a little bit more on this. Except to work overseas and Crystal. Accepting only, respecting the foregoing unpaid lease. Bam did so as a bona fide purchaser without notice of any third-party claims or liens of any kind, including Crystal and Benjamin's undisclosed and alleged consignment agreement with Brian, referenced info. The only question would be, is that like let's assume you had like $50 billion of like diamonds sitting here. There's no way that the corporation would be able to just take it over, right?
Well, I mean,
consignment agreement wasn't illegal. Watch the Legal Eagle video. Incomplete. Link me the timestamp of the Legal Eagle guy saying that, not as a general rule of thumb, but as an actual reference to a contract between the franchisee and the franchisor. Incomplete. Please link it. Please link the timestamp instead of just spamming that and having to go watch an hour video for some shit that you probably fucking retarded about. Please. In a video game.
You tell him, Steven, you get him, man.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Where's Claw?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
Prior to and from the time of possession, business representative. An informal and video inventory of the Salem LLC fixtures inventory. Well, he did not locate or identify any product that was identified as consigned or not owned by Salem LLC. Include the maximum value of any residual inventory was less than $38,000. Less than $5,000 worth of service records to be located and identified in the entire residual Salem LLC on-site inventory. Incident thereto. Bam requested access to and the copies of all relevant business records provided at SLLC, which Crystal and or Benjamin refused to provide, including inventory reports, agreements, final... Oh, shit, that would make it harder, too, because... so they wouldn't even know what is in inventory there.
Sounds like these two retards should have never had a business.
Maybe, I don't know. Looks like consignments were allowed, page 72.1a. I hope that this is, like, actually what you're saying it is, and it's not them saying that, like, with pre-written approval or with a list of approved vendors only or something, but, okay, let's go check. 72.1a. Is it page 72 of the document?
Probably.
Bricks and Minifigs. We own, operate, and franchise the Bricks and Minifigs businesses that are retail stores typically located in shopping malls, strip malls, or as freestanding structures featuring high-quality LEGO products and related merchandise. We and our affiliates have developed and own a comprehensive system for developing and operating Bricks and Minifig stores, which include trademarks, distinctive store design, this isn't going to be in the... I already know this isn't going to be in this section of the contract. Oh, man. Fuck! I'm going to be on the unpopular side of this, and my whole audience, we're going to have to ban like 700 people by the time we're done with this. I can already tell.
It's alright, they'll come to the morning show.
Okay.
They'll hang out in the kitchen chat.
Which includes trends in store design and layouts, decor and color schemes, vendor relationships, resale methods, advertising methods, strategies, specification. This is just an intro for the contract. We're not even in terms of anything yet, but okay. Quality control, marketing materials, training programs, and certain operational business standards and policies, all of which we may improve, further develop, or otherwise modify. A Bricks and Minifigs franchise will provide programs permitting customers to sell and or trade their used LEGO bricks, LEGO minifigures, and accessories, offer for sale a wide selection of new and used LEGO bricks, LEGO minifigures, and accessories sold in bulk or full play sets, in addition to selling apparel and pre-approved non-LEGO branded and or LEGO compatible products and other merchandise approved by us. Additionally, franchisee may also offer consignment services, approved theme entertainment services such as birthday parties, holiday parties, or school events, approved off-site events, after-school project-based programs, teaching the principles of building with LEGO bricks to children, and other toy-related services approved by us. The services, products, and services are also customizable upon our approval. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this
approved
right here.
By us, right?
Yeah, so this is the introduction to a contract that sounds like a default version that they might give. This intro here sounds like it includes all the potential possible services that you might agree to. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have like spelled out all of these in whatever individual contract that you have. So So it says here, so like additionally, franchisee may also offer consignment services. So this is the thing you're talking about here. But that doesn't mean that every single one will. It probably doesn't mean that every single contract will reference it. If it does, then it would be very easy for them to just post their contract that says, oh no, actually, we have this written in the contract here. And it sounds like, at least according to, this is on behalf of Bricks and Minifigs, it sounds like they're claiming that the contract did not have anything related to consignment in their contract. And they didn't even provide the records for it anyway. But...
that part there? Inventory and other assets, and credited an estimated $40,000 paltry value, therefore, as an offset to the unpaid $175,000 debt. Is that saying that they only had $40,000 worth of inventory in the store?
Sorry, yeah, hold on.
Yeah, sorry, 27.
Based on the foregoing uncured, BAM until issued a issued notice terminate pre-scheduled repossession. They repossessed the store as was permitted under the FAA and VA, including all fixtures, inventory, and estimated $38,000 paltry value. Therefore, it's oh yeah, yes, so that's what they estimated. They counted through and they yeah.
But there's no way if this guy has $120,000 worth of Legos that they would, in the store, that they would count that as $38,000 worth of inventory.
I don't know. Yes, that is. Destiny, it doesn't say the consignment services have to be approved, so yes, that does in fact mean that they are allowed to do consignment, period. Please shut the fuck up if you've never signed a... I don't even know if you signed your own fucking W-2s, you autistic fucking retard. An introduction section on a contract listing all of the potential things that you might have as part of the individual terms that you negotiate on an agreement. You would never in your entire life debate a contract with the owner, with whatever else, and go, actually, in the introduction part, you say that these are all the potential things that we could do, so I went ahead and made this a major part. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Shut the fuck up.
I would appreciate if you shut the fuck up and don't get on my ass about it.
Yeah. Okay. Not to say maybe they did have a consignment thing. That could be the case. I haven't seen that part of the contract yet, though, okay? But accepting only respecting the foregoing unpaid lease. Okay. So when the corporation, when the franchisor, not W2, you're W9, whatever the fuck you sign. I don't give a fuck. I shit on W everything. I hate all the W's, okay? I forged every W, every signature I've ever done in my entire life. All of them are fake. Hunter Biden signed them for me.
Wait, right here, it says, including Crystal's and Benjamin's undisclosed and alleged consignment agreement with Brian.
Yes, so when the corporation, when the franchisor retook possession of the store, okay, then they, apparently Crystal and Benjamin didn't provide them with any information about the store. They didn't give them literally anything.
Didn't give them shit.
They didn't tell them about the inventory. They didn't tell them about any business records, any consignment agreements. That apparently they just didn't give any of that to them at all.
Why the hell are we harassing Bricks and Minifigs?
Well, because of what Kafka said earlier, it's a cooler story and more entertaining. Instance there too, BAM requested access to, and that copies of all relevant business records be provided. Oh, and they didn't provide any, yeah. So Crystal and Benjamin refused to provide, including inventory reports, agreements, financial statements, etc. Now again, this is just their allegations in the complaint. You can put anything in the complaint you want. Maybe they're lying about all of this. Okay. Undisclosed and unauthorized 11/22/23 consignment agreement. Please, for the love of God, stop talking about the retarded fucking camera footage. It means fucking nothing, okay? Jesus fucking Christ. Upon information and belief, during her tenure as a franchisee and on or about 11/22/23, Crystal entered into an undisclosed and unauthorized private consignment arrangement with Brian, or his aging father, Eric, allegedly relating to an inventory of alleged LEGO collectible sets. A purported but unsigned written 11/22/23 consignment agreement is attached as Exhibit A, which is between Brian Mansell and Bricks and Minifigs, Salem Kaiser, blah, blah, blah. Plaintiffs do not have a copy of a signed version, though Brian has alleged it was signed by Crystal and Brian. So this would further the idea that these guys, this was just a side business basically that they were doing, that they weren't really allowed to do. At that time and until the present, BRICS was not and has never been a known or legally registered entity, and in any event, BRICS is not Salem LLC, leaving Crystal personally liable for the terms of the 11/22/23 consignment agreement. Importantly, in the purported consignment agreement, Section 5, Crystal agreed and warranted that she has purchased insurance sufficient to cover the loss or damage of the Star Wars Legos and agreed to store the Star Wars Legos in a manner customary in the industry to prevent damage, acknowledging she shall be responsible for all shortages, loss, or damage to Star Wars Legos while in her control. Regarding the arrangement and storage, Brian has described the arrangement as follows. When Eric Mansell decided it was time to divest, he turned to his son, Brian Mansell. Brian knows more about his father's comic book and baseball card collection, but didn't feel confident in his knowledge of the Lego secondary market. He saw the sign for the Bricks and Minifig store while passing by on North River Road, came in and asked the store owner, Crystal Law, if she could help. Crystal told him, even if we couldn't sell the selection, I would help him figure out how much it was worth because I didn't want him to get ripped off, and I think that's why he trusted me. Law said, the entire collection will be sold through Law's store, but first they wanted to put it all on display so the public can see it in its entirety. The collection will be on display in the store's party room from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Saturday. The collection will be available for sale immediately, so the best time for pictures will be Saturday morning. The collection will not be stored on site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere. Bricks and Minifix is located at I'm going to need to see some heavy contract work on the other end because it's starting to look more and more like she was. My original guess was correct. She was running it sounds like she was running a secondary business that she wasn't allowed to based on the franchisor agreement. Okay, Legal
You're
Eagle.
so smart.
Lego. Okay. Legal Eagle video timestamp is 45:10. I hope this is about specifics to this case and not just general statements about consignment.
That agreement only addresses the relationship between Bricks and Minifigs and the Gormans, not the ownership of the Star Wars collection. The franchise agreement was a contract between Bricks and Minifigs corporate and the franchisee. But it's also possible that both the Gormans and Bricks and Minifigs are telling the truth. It's entirely possible that the Gormans signed a franchise agreement that allowed them to engage in consignments, but then it's also possible that a later franchise agreement that corporate would have required them to sign outlawed that particular practice. But I don't think that would be controlling here because either way, whatever franchise agreement is operable, that's a contract between Bricks and Minifigs and the franchisee. Mansell was not a party to it, and his property rights are independent of the consignment agreement and relate to the underlying ownership of the collection. A franchise rule prohibiting consignments might justify terminating the franchise relationship, but it still doesn't mean that corporate gets to own stuff that the
So he's not talking about any of the he's theory crafting and guessing here. So this is a total fucking waste of my fucking time. I could have spent 50 seconds pleasurably crushing my ball sack, but instead you linked me this video where he's speculating on hypothetical contracts that he hasn't seen. I'm gonna have to crush my balls twice as hard tonight to make up for the time that you just fucking wasted. Have me watch this. Thank you.
Crush your balls.
She posted a copy of her franchisee agreement with BMF that explicitly states consignment is a part of the business. We'll link that.
Link it.
Why haven't BAM provided the contracts? Well, it sounds like, at least in the complaint of this lawsuit, they are providing relevant sections of this contract. Upon information and belief, why not all of it? What do you mean? Because they don't have to. It's a fucking filing in a public. What do you mean? Why not all of it? Because they don't give a fuck about you in whatever fucking European country you're in. They don't have to post every fucking part of the contract online for your dirty little grub fucking fingers to go over. What do you mean? Why not publish all of it? You fucking read. Why don't you publish a blown up picture of your asshole on the fucking internet in 8K HD 500 FPS 4000 hertz monitor? What do you mean? Why not publish all of it? What do you mean? I'm sure the other side should have a contract that they sign themselves so they can counter in the lawsuit. I'm sure that if they don't have a copy anymore, they can probably get it in a request for discovery. What kind of a retarded fucking question is that? Upon information and belief, Brian and or Crystal initially valued the alleged consignment collection in the range of $80,000, which was later reduced by its cost value of $30,000 or less to $60,000. I wonder where they get this from, but see informal transcript of 416 collecting weekly YouTube video titled "Help a Fellow Collector." Does it actually say this? Ooh, fuck. Is this video online somewhere? 1 year ago.
I believe it was.
Holy shit!
Chat GPT AI or
44.
To be fair, I did ask you if you could help me fix it, and you never. So.
I was just thinking, like, fuck, bro.
So happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at all the stuff he brought us. This is fantastic.
This is Brian Mansell. Okay.
Just based on what we've seen, allegedly, right? I know he's out his collection and his money, and that's wrong.
Yeah, at bare minimum. Yeah.
At bare minimum, it's wrong.
Yeah.
This, to me, is the smoking gun right here. They have pictures and showing off his collection in their store. Look,
There's
we're
videos
so
as
happy.
well.
Yeah. Look at all the stuff he brought us. This is fantastic. This is all his. Now on consignment. Come buy it. And now the new owner or the new whoever franchisee is like, nah, it's our stuff.
Ooh, wait, so this was Ben Reckless took this up recently, right? His YouTube videos are recent, right?
Yeah. It was like
interesting.
maybe maximum month.
Okay, so this is from April 16th of 2025. Was this like a mini drama on the internet, or did this blow up before Ben?
This was mini before Ben. Reckless Ben blew it up.
Interesting. Okay.
Why is it interesting to you?
Just that these guys are talking about this beforehand. Yeah. Okay.
That's the smoking gun.
Around, yeah.
Franchisee is like, nah, it's our stuff. That's
The collection will be on display in the store's party room from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturday, November 11th, and 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Sunday. The collection will be available for sale immediately, so the best time for pictures will be Saturday morning. The collection will not be stored on site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere. I feel like that's a little...
That's interesting.
But I don't... okay.
That's
to be clear,
maybe, yeah. Also, I should go back. You're so lucky I'm lazy. I should go back and permaban every fucking person. When I asked when I first watched this video and people said it was a $200,000 thing, my question was, is it like all these retail, really? Like the combined retail for all of these is $200,000? And it sounds like that's absolutely not the case. Every single fucking retard in chat lied about that.
Well, it's going to be contentious, right? Like, it could be 100,000, it could be 200,000.
No. As in, like, when you go to Kmart or Target or Toys R Us, you buy $100, $1,000,
these are fucking old.
Yeah, but that was
these
my
are like
question.
10 years old.
Sure,
oh,
but that
nobody
means
understood that.
when you're talking about super low volume markets like this, a collectible thing could go for 10,000 or it could go for 5 million, depending on who the buyers are.
These markets aren't that low volume. It's not like there's one fucking Lego Death Star selling a day. Like there's whole like other websites for this. Like I think like Bricklink or whatever, and you can go on there and you can see actually the volume for some of these items and shit. Like the Lego market, the resale shit is huge.
Okay, well, why didn't he just go through one of the easier things then? Why would he do it in person?
Because he's a retarded boomer. He should have sold it himself. He's just a fucking retard. As seen by how he's handling everything else.
To be clear, all of these images here,
that's the smoke.
So over 15 years, he spent approximately $20,000 on Star Wars Legos, and now he thinks they're worth $200,000.
They probably are worth somewhere $100,000 to $200,000. Yeah, they're Star Wars Legos.
To be clear, all of these images here.
Fuck. Okay, we realized.
Here, this text was all posted by the store as well,
right?
Which is even more like of the value of some of the sets, how they're going to be displaying them, how they're going to be for sale.
The name of the fucking store and the address, like.
Also, this guy, I mean, if he was doing his investment, which I don't think he says he was, I think they were just doing it for fun, he would be a retard because if he would have put $20,000 in S&P 500, he would have had way more money.
Well, now I'm curious, were the Legos ever even in the store? If that thing on the sign said they weren't going to store them there, maybe they stored them later on.
Oh, at the end? Yeah, I doubt it.
As noted above, the proposed consignment arrangement, which was not expressly approved by BAM, is not permitted under BAM franchise standards, and this private arrangement was entered into solely by Brian and Crystal in an unauthorized capacity and not on behalf of BAM or Baker Salem, which had no knowledge of or involvement regarding such. Upon information or belief, Crystal Salem LLC sold part of the consigned inventory and paid Brian for such. Salem LLC or Crystal had ample time to sell the consigned inventory during the approximately 1-year period prior to Crystal's abandonment of the store, and did so. Such sales activities have never been reported to or accounted for with BAM. It was a side business. I knew it. It was all off the books for these people.
That's just good business.
I mean, true. That's why people do it. Uh-oh.
Good business you seek. Illegal things you must do.
As noted on or about 11/8/24, Crystal informed BAM corporate leadership that her partner had accepted employment overseas and that she intended to close the store, and she thereafter abandoned the store in connection therewith. BAM advised her that a closure was not permitted under the FA, including due to her unpaid royalties, defaulted asset purchase payments, and outstanding contractual obligations. BAM thereafter notified Crystal that it would repossess the store pursuant to their rights. When BAM representatives arrived for the scheduled turnover on 11/14/24, Crystal became uncooperative and interfered with the agreed smooth transition and refused to provide records and removed certain receipts, a high-value Boba Fett minifig, and possibly money in the safe over Brandon's objection, and ultimately was escorted out of the store. The store was empty, looked unpresentable, and had been ransacked. As noted, BAM issued its 11/14/24 notice of immediate termination and assumed possession of the premises and all assets located within the store as part of lawful recovery actions. Brandon was engaged as a contracted inventory inspector for BAM and was requested to inspect and inventory the Salem LLC store at the time of repossession. After Brandon secured the location incident to the termination and completed the inventory, Josh expressed to BAM his interest in acquiring a franchise for the store location. Okay. Well, okay. Remember? Although all you fucking retards have made your minds up already because it's the fun thing to do on the internet. This is just the complaint. There might be really reasonable explanations for how Crystal's behaving and everything else, or maybe these guys could just fucking lie in their complaint. It's just a legal complaint. You put whatever the fuck you want in it. That's how these work.
That's what happened to you, right?
No, I'm guilty. I'm just kidding. I'm not even joking. Don't put it in emotion, Jen. Fucking retard.
Dear T0, I ain't reading all that. Nut check.
Nut check. What?
You don't even know your email.
Shut up. I love the nut check email. Okay. Let's go.
Who runs the entire company, Hammond McNeff. He personally came out to talk to us.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not? Is that a lie?
No.
That's a lie. You did take Legos.
No. So we have our attorneys have visited. Like again. So who's let's
Brian Mansell.
Okay, and who's that?
He's a guy who had a bunch of.
Okay. There's still a lot of behavior by the police department. I have to say this because my audience is fucking retarded. There's still a lot of behavior by the police department that seemed a little bit extreme or not okay. Stopping people, doing heroin searches, whatever bullshit.
Right violations, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But, because now I'll listen to what this guy's saying, reframed a little bit with this complaint. If everything he's saying is true, and if everything that's in this complaint is generally true, and I think everything he said, lines up with the complaint, then the reckless guys and everybody, they literally were just like fucking mass harassing a new franchisee owner when the entire fault should fall on the last franchisee owner. But well, I guess we'll see. All right.
You had like $200,000 worth of Legos in your store?
My name is Ammon McNeff. I am the CEO of the Bricks and Minifigs brand.
So my name's Matt McNeff. I'm the COO of Bricks and Minifigs.
The people
Why didn't BAM just say, okay, let's go to court? They fought so hard. What do you mean? They didn't, because they weren't getting sued. Yeah, they said, if you want to sue us, but...
Saw are the McNeff brothers. They agreed to speak with me to try to clear their name. I asked them, do they have the Legos?
What I can tell you is that we don't have it. We've never had access to them.
It seems to kind of go missing. Parts of it seem to go missing on November 14th. Well, and I guess, no, not at all. I'm going to say, like that is not accurate at all. Because, so you think that the collection was in the store at the time or elsewhere? Elsewhere. When you look at Mansell's own words that he reiterated to a podcast last year, he explicitly stated to another podcaster, the sets were moved off-site for security.
The collection will not be stored on site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase and stored elsewhere.
Now, one thing that's been a big subject.
True, but it makes the statements by Josh confusing about still having Brian Legos to get back. If I remember what he said what I remember was him saying that they might have still had a couple sets of Star Wars. Like, it made, when I listened to that, it sounded like they had like a few things maybe, but nowhere near what was being alleged. That's what I remember on the phone call. But Destiny, so who has the sets? I mean, if we're to assume their story is true and that everything in the complaint is true, then either the sets are lost somewhere because Crystal mismanaged them, Crystal sold them and kept the money for herself, or she sold them and Brian already was paid out from that and they're just like harassing these people for memes or whatever. My guess, the vibe I have so far, is that I think Crystal probably mismanaged or fucked some shit up, is my guess, but we'll see.
Stated to another podcaster, the sets were moved off-site for security.
The collection will not be stored on site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere.
Now, one thing that's been a big subject of the Bricks and Minifigs kind of story is, hey, there are these off-site locations. Can you address what that is? Is that true?
So the off-site location and the letter that that corporate is referring to is the original press release that we released when we were launching the collection. In that press release, because we had previous break-ins, I specifically included the location that after this weekend, those Legos would be stored off-site to deter any future thefts.
Okay, now, I don't know for this particular thing. Here's my vibe on this. If you are working as part of a franchisee and you have inventory and everything as part of a franchisee and you have to deal with liability related to that, my guess would be that as soon as you start moving shit off-site, you are taking on an unbelievable amount of personal liability that the franchisor is not going to cover you for everything. Just on an immediate think, that sounds omega sussy baka, unless they have this explicitly. Well, if she has insurance through like the franchisor, yes, for the business and maybe for something related to the business. But as soon as you start like moving shit like off-site or whatever, you're on a very. My guess would be is that you're starting to take on a whole bunch of personal liability at that point. That would be, but unless there is a term in the contract that explicitly or specifically states, you know,
can move it here,
yeah, if you wish to do offsite arrangements because the collection holder is high, blah blah blah, then like this can be done in writing. A lot of contractual stuff will be like, you know, as long as there's writing given in advance and both parties consent, then you can do a thing. But if she doesn't have any contractual stuff, I think that cuts against her very heavily. That's crazy that you would have a business and you would just start moving shit off-site. Like imagine Dan. He comes to the studio and he's like, somebody broke into the apartment and stole like $10,000 worth of cameras. Well, fuck me. I mean, it's my studio. I pay for it. I do have renter's insurance. That's kind of annoying or whatever. But like, imagine if Dan tells me, hey, Steven, just so you know, somebody stole $10,000 worth of cameras from our studio. And I'm like, from the studio, oh shit, they broke in. He's like, well, no, I move stuff off site. I have like a storage unit and I store them there. And I'm like, what, motherfucker? Give me my money, you fucking, what are you talking about? What do you mean you took stuff out of the studio and it got fucking stolen? Now my renter's insurance doesn't cover it. It's not even my property anymore. Why the fuck are you storing shit on your own? Like, that would be crazy, in my opinion. But
that would be bad business. Unless
there's some special thing about this contract that they'll show later. I need to get closer.
For this weekend, those Legos would be stored off-site to deter any future thefts. They were briefly stored off-site after that launch weekend, while I bought safes for the back room, and then they were moved back into the store.
Okay, so for most of the time,
were they huge safes to store all the Legos, or?
Those would have to be insanely big because this is a huge collection.
Okay, all right.
The sets were in the store after y'all got the safes in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Ammon McNeff suspects that...
I want more questions! Was it a room size? What kind of safe are we talking here? What?
A lot of the Legos weren't there that night. And then on the other hand, we just heard from Crystal and Ben Gorman explaining the offsite story, saying that later they no longer use those offsite locations. But what do we really know about the Gormans? They are the former franchise owners after all. I mean, shouldn't we be suspicious of everyone? They're one of our key suspects. They were there the night we lost Brian's collection. They were the creators of the consignment deal after all. And one group in particular is pointing their finger at them very hard. It's the McNeffs who say they were behind on payments.
We started getting calls from the landlord letting us know that Crystal was behind on the lease payments at the location. We had also gotten a couple of notices from some of our vendor partners that bills had not been paid by the store, and so we felt pretty strongly that there was going to be a risk of her just, you know, like attempting to file bankruptcy, doing some of these other types of things which we've had.
Hold on,
McNeffs who say they were behind on payments. One group in particular is pointing their finger at them very hard. It's the McNeffs who say they were behind on payments.
Just to be clear, okay, hold on. These guys are the owners of Bricks and Minifigs, the corporate entity, not the.
Yes.
They're not the new. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay,
They're the corpos.
Gotcha. Okay.
We started getting calls from the landlord letting us know that.
I was gonna say a new franchisee shouldn't have to assume all the past whatever bullshit. Like I imagine the corporate side of things will settle that before they franchisee out a new thing. Yeah.
Crystal was behind on the lease payments at the location. We had also gotten a couple of notices from some of our vendor partners that bills had not been paid by the store, and so we felt pretty strongly that there was going to be a risk of her just, like attempting to file bankruptcy, doing some of these other types of things which we've had franchisees do in the past, and that's problematic. So that's why we sent him up there to take some video footage. So we needed to just be prepared if we needed to do a hostile takeover, which can happen in franchising, where a franchise owner just kind of tries to steal inventory and do some different things that way.
Okay, so Bricks and Minifig's story is that they were worried about the Gormans skipping town, so they sent Brandon Beth as a
not just skipping town. So I'm outside of my personal, but like the problem with bankruptcy. Remember, bankruptcy is when you go to the bank and you say, "Please protect my assets for a little bit because I need to sort my shit out." So rather than the owners being able to come in and just say like, okay, get the fuck out, we're just gonna fucking redo this business, whatever the fuck, a bankruptcy proceeding might put on hold however long all those proceedings, like it's probably gonna be, the problem isn't even just that you have to now go through the whole bankruptcy process and fight over the assets or whatever the fuck else. It's that location is literally just gonna be off the market now for however long it takes for the bank to go through all that shit is probably what they're worried about there when it comes to bankruptcy stuff, we might guess.
Bricks and Minifig's story is that they were worried about the Gormans skipping town, so they sent Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24, 2020.
Sorry. So pretty much all the threads in this resolved. If it was Crystal who stole the Legos, maybe, but the only thing that I've gotten a lot to read from is the plaintiff side of this lawsuit, which is Bricks and Minifigs. It might be that Crystal and them have really good explanations. We haven't heard their side. Oh, I'm guessing that's in this video.
This is weeks before the takeover. Brandon takes a video of the store condition in preparation for this handover, but at this point, Brandon does not announce himself to This is weeks before Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24, 2024. This is weeks before the takeover. Brandon takes a video of the store condition in preparation for this handover.
Ooh, this is sneaky. Okay. If they come back to repo the store and like all this shit is gone and it's not reported to Bricks and Minifigs, then that's really bad.
To be fair, I don't think those are the Star Wars ones.
Doesn't matter. They made it sound like when they came in that the store was, they said their description was ransacked. So if she was fucking looting everything before she, not even skipped town, but skipped the country, but we'll see.
But at this point, Brandon does not announce himself to Crystal Gorman. Later, though, on November 14th, once again, the same concern about the Gorman stealing or theft was expressed by the McNeffs.
Brandon was trying to make sure that they weren't taking things from the store, and so he was kind of trying to make sure that she wasn't putting things, like hiding things in the back, and that he, and while he was watching that, trying to make sure Ben wasn't grabbing stuff from the store and moving it or doing anything along those lines.
Wait, so this is when they're kicking him out. Does that look ransacked to you?
I can't rewind the video, Mooten. Sorry.
Pressed by the McNabb.
What was that original video? Can you link it to me? Because people really like that original video.
What do you mean? The Ben? What, the Reckless Ben?
Whatever this video of them getting kicked out. Does this look ransacked?
This comes from Reckless Ben.
Sure.
I don't think that looks ransacked.
I mean, it doesn't to me. I don't know what else there is in the background, the walls, or whatever. But I don't know if this is referring to the ransacked.
I can link you the Reckless Ben video, but yeah, this is when it seems like from the Reckless Ben video is when they're getting escorted out. Lego Part 1.
It's also low resolution as fuck, so it's hard to say.
It is, but here I think that's the original. I don't know the timestamp off the top of my head.
Are you fucking serious?
This man spent his life collecting.
You little fuck boy.
Paid for.
These are ones that he has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't.
Okay, wait, well, so like this kind of does look a little, like, is this shelf like completely emptied or whatever? I can't tell. This here? And is everything gone from the back here? This kind of does look a little bit more.
I don't know how much I need to pay him.
And like, are these shelves?
Still shit in all of the cabinets. The shelves we can see still have shit on it.
A little bit
empty.
Of things,
it's just the back. It's just the back of whatever trinkets they're
I don't
trying
know.
to sell.
Yeah, I don't know how much is normally here or whatever, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
That's a bit.
Like these cabinets, these look ransacked, right? Wait, can you see this bottom part? Like it looks like stuff was taken from here. But I mean, there's still stuff in
from
these
the left
cases.
side, sure.
Who
Yeah.
knows? I don't know.
Business thing and not necessarily yours. It's taking on the business. They're gonna kicks on all.
Okay. Anyway. Okay.
You know, like hiding things in the back, and that he.
Wouldn't they just have inventory lists? So according to Bricks and Minifigs, no inventory list was turned over. So.
Problem.
Incidents there too, BAM requested access to, or I'm sorry, incident there too, BAM requested access to, and that copies of all relevant business records be provided by Salem LLC, which Crystal and or Benjamin refused to provide, including inventory reports, agreements, financial statements, etc. So.
And while he was watching that, trying to make sure Ben wasn't grabbing stuff from the store and moving it or doing anything along those lines, because he just got a weird feeling about the whole transition.
She took at least one, if not more than one, cartfuls of things out to her car with her coat draped over it.
Wait. Was that in the video? I want to see that. He must have that on video if she was doing it. He must have. He would absolutely would have gotten that on his phone, right?
So yeah, the McNeffs say, look, they don't trust the Gormans. And they explained it, you know, even further. They said, hey, there's some issues in her past.
She...
So they sent Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24th, 2024. This is weeks before...
On her record.
I don't know.
Theft. And other criminal, arrests on her record. That we were not aware of.
When was that?
I don't know. This has been brought out by several people online now.
Now look. That's a huge accusation to bring up, and so obviously I wanted to talk to the Gormans about it. They're like, she has a history of some type of burglary, theft.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're
wow.
saying. Yeah.
Oh.
Don't dispute it.
Well, yes.
Sorry. Stop! She's about to explain! Stop laughing, Mooten. Stop! Idiot. She's about to explain, you fucking retard.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
you
explain.
know about this.
Explain.
Yeah, when I was 19 years old.
How long ago is that?
I am 45 now.
See? There you go.
So this was in 1999. This, something that happened 25 years ago, has no reflection and no bearing on what happened in the last 2 years, my management of the store, what happened the night corporate seized the store. It is another deflection, and it infuriates me. You're gonna try to publicly embarrass and shame me for somebody that was manipulated by local police departments when she was pregnant and 19 years old? Fuck you.
Wait, what? Did the police make her steal when she was 19? I'm getting a little bit of white woman coming from this person, but okay.
That's my response to that. I am so sorry. You're gonna have to blur and cut a lot of this, but that pisses me off. I own what I have done. I own the mistakes that I have made. You cannot...
Hope I'm not spamming. Here's a link in the video to the claimed original contract. Let me guess. This is going to be between Brian and her, but not have anything to do with the franchisor and the franchisee?
Specifications and approval, if we so require.
Oh my god, wait, hold on. It's an actual...
Situations where a bona fide successor does not have knowledge of the underlying obligations and doesn't have to assume them. But Bricks and Minifigs Corporate has argued that consignments violated franchise policy or were unauthorized under the franchise agreement. So we took a look at the Bricks and Minifigs 2003 franchise agreement, which does not say that stores can't use consignment. Quote, subject to our standard specifications and approval.
Approval?
Wait, hold on. The contract didn't say I couldn't do that. Excuse me, what?
If we so require, you may also offer the following products and services, consignment services. And that's just on the first page. And the franchise agreement template reiterates that on the first page, quote, additionally, franchisees may also offer consignment services. And Reckless Ben states in an update that Crystal Law provided the actual franchise agreement that she signed, which explicitly allows consignment agreements.
This is the, you're looking at a boilerplate. This is the introduction of the contract. This isn't even the actual contract that was signed. This looks like the boilerplate franchisee agreement that the corporation offers. So this is where they all start from.
Services. And Reckless Ben states in an update that Crystal Law provided the actual franchise agreement that she signed, which explicitly allows consignment agreements.
Where, now looking at that would be really interesting. Yes, this is what we read earlier, yeah. Now, for that, can we see that anywhere? Does anybody have a link to that?
Now, additionally, there are 4 references to consignment in these documents, and none of them are an outright prohibition. And even if Bricks and Minifigs
intimidate and bully me into backing down when I know that legally and morally I am in the right. And
Whoa! Exhibit B, franchise agreement. This agreement identifies Bricks and Minifigs Salem 1 LLC as oh my god. Oh, this is the agreement. Okay, then this should settle everything. Okay.
That'll settle it.
This is it. Right here. The actual signed agreement.
That's it, baby.
Did they ever specify consignment term? Ooh.
Yes or no?
I'm not. Are they all loaded? Is this control F-ing the whole document?
Try to control F the word the.
Good. Oh. It doesn't sound like, unless it's written in a different section then. It doesn't sound like this has anything then related to consignment here. Let's see what we can go into. Hold on. Introduction, grants of rights. I wonder if it would be in here. Franchise fees, development and opening of the store, training and guidance. I wonder if development, opening the store. This all looks like. Marks, no.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Huh. Or your organization and management. Operating standards. Okay. It would be here. Services, products, and vendors is my guess. Right to inspect, transfers, termination. Okay, so 8C on page 21. I think. Maybe. Service. Oh, this is what we read in the lawsuit, I think. Uh-oh. You acknowledge and agree that the rotation franchises developing products are not. Sure, the consistent, high quality, and uniform products are. Its affiliates are approved vendors to demonstrate the franchise. Make sure there's a to be purchased for the store or for various sources of franchises. Franchisor may make arrangements for certain products. Franchisee is prohibited from carrying more than 10% of all items offered for sale in its store, including in its inventory of products on the premises to be non-LEGO branded products. The franchisor makes no warranties regarding any vendor products or supplies, and hereby disclaims the implied warranty. Okay. Franchisee may be required to use and or offer for sale any and all branded merchandise or proprietary products developed by franchisor. Okay. Franchisee shall not make any changes to proprietary products. Okay. Franchisee may not independently act as an exclusive distributor for any third-party vendor or secure any exclusive rights to distribute products and or proprietary products inside or outside of franchisee's territory. Without franchisor's written consent, franchisor shall approve manufacture or produce any product that is similar to or competes with any franchise product. Okay. I think it would be here. That's why this is the section that showed up in the lawsuit. I don't. If this is the contract, then I don't think.
So she did no wrong.
What?
So she did no wrong then?
No, she did. She was doing.
Oh, so she did wrong.
She was. It sounds like she was doing this consignment business on the side. This would have been in contravention of my guesses of this section here of the services that they agreed to provide, because she didn't get this in writing or approved ahead of time.
That's not good, right?
Well, Yeah. Well.
What do you want me to say?
This is a vibe thing. It doesn't matter much, but also when people do this like massive